oftentimes the one that we see is a lack of strategic planning. So many times when I walk into an environment, I end up finding IT companies that are currently engaging with customers, and they're playing what I call break fix IT. So the customer calls, they remote in, they'll fix the issue, but there's never a strategic plan for the customer to get from point A to point B. They're growing as a business, they're thriving as a business, they're adding locations, they're adding employees. Your customer is moving, growing, and changing. And so, if you aren't there as a business advisor to help provide a strategic plan, there ends up being a gap with risk inside of the business. As an example, if you're not doing cyber employee training, right? You're not training the goalie. If we're not talking about uptime and business continuity around core key assets inside of the organization, well, then you're going to be behind the curve whenever there's an uh-oh moment. And that's bad for both you and the customer, right? So get in front of those strategic planning conversations, meet with your customers at least quarterly, and don't do a quarterly business review where you're just looking at tickets. Look at the customer's employee life cycle, look at the customer life cycle, and determine the business processes for that customer that are maybe inefficient, ways that they can improve their workflow, ways that they can reduce data entry to reduce errors. Things like that will allow you as an IT leader to get in front of the uh-oh moments and tell people, hey, we need to be replacing hardware ahead of time and not waiting till it dies, right? Putting those hardware rotation schedules in front of people. So have somebody dedicated on your team that is engaging with the customer purely from a strategic level. That'll also drive your projects and that'll drive other things for the rest of your organization that'll help you become healthier too. But if you aren't strategically advising for your customers, you're just waiting back and waiting for the ball to come to you. And so if you will strategic advise, you'll be in a position to where you can help affect positive change, and then you're not left supporting bad policies, procedures, or decisions that will affect the IT environment. So be a strategic advisor and don't just be a break fix IT team. I'd say one of the best ways is to not be a hog. You know, one of my old mentors once told me, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. So be great at what you do, saturate your customer with what you do. But let's just say you don't do a door access control or security cameras, or things of that nature. Find a partner that you can partner closely with, and then you can build a good relationship with that you can trust, but you can give business back and forth with. This is one of the best ways that we have found to get referral business, because at the end of the day, you want to do what you do and do it very well. And if you can find partners that offer complementary type services to things that you touch, you've got the ability, going back to the strategic advisor piece, to put people in front of the organization that will help improve what's going on. And then they can do the same to you when they're out at their customer base and there's a networking issue and they're trying to do door access control. Hey, I've got a team that actually is really good, right? So build those strategic partners with other providers on things that you may not touch, but that you oftentimes run across. So once again, low voltage cabling, if you don't do like data cabling, that might be something that you want to find just a data cabling provider. Printer companies, you might want to find a printer company that only does printer work and doesn't try to play managed services, right? You might find a door access controller security camera company vendor, right? So the point is find other complementary providers that you can partner with, build good relationships with, and that's also how you can build out your peer network as well. So find good business partners that you can partner with. Well, the only way that it can be done effectively is by getting in front of the problems before they become really bad uh-oh moments, right? Goes back to that strategic planning. I try to tell people IT issues don't just arise. Either something wasn't planned for or something broke and changed. And so one thing that we're very big on is, once again, the strategic advising, getting in front of the customer so that we can address strategic items and stay ahead of the oh moments. But then also we come back in, and after we've determined what those best practices are for the customer, we audit them to make sure that we don't have deviation from the best practices. And so as an example, if we're meeting with them quarterly strategically, we might come in and audit the environment monthly. And so as an example, if the VCIO says, hey, let's review each one of your job roles, each one of the positions inside of the organization, determine what access they need, what tools they need, what type of machines. These are all things from the strategic side that can be done once, documented thoroughly, and then audited to make sure that we aren't deviating from those best practices. Once again, if we have two-factor authentication on all of our accounts, and that's a policy, that's a strategic advisor policy from the C-suite coming down, hey, 2FA everywhere, then let's audit it and make sure that we're not changing from that policy whenever we're onboarding or offboarding users. We're consistent in what we're doing. So strategic advising and auditing allows us to keep the information and the environment to known standards. And this will allow you to be able to service customers that are inside of in other states, that where you may not have a localized footprint. So proactive auditing is going to be your biggest, is going to be one of your best advantages to doing this. And then also the customer that you partner with is extremely important in these situations because you can't effectively service a customer in a non-localized environment if the customer doesn't want to play ball and be in a state of good standing from a strategy perspective. If they're okay running 10-year-old hardware, you're gonna have bad days. If they like the idea of not having downtime, then they should be rotating machines every 4 years, as an example. And so if we're providing that strategy, if we're providing the auditing, and if the customer's got buy-in from the proactive side, that's how you can effectively service customers outside of your immediate localized location, whether it's outside of your city, outside of your state, across the nation. The way you do it is with proactive services and with customer buy-in. If the customer does not want to be proactive and they're more worried about, saving that dollar and dealing with the pain later, then you will be the one dealing with the pain. And so get in front of those issues, get with the right customers, and that relationship that you have with the customer, make sure you're being an advisor, auditing, and just being there along with them as part of their team.